Hey there guys, Cubby and Bobby here with your comic book reviews this week.
Woo, woo, woo.
We got some DC, Image, and Boom Studios, of course.
We've also got a whole bunch of Marvel #1s and a couple Dark Horse books, so check them out.
Check it out, man.
So I gotta check out a book this week, Green Lantern New Guardians #14. It is another issue into the Rise of the Third Army arc that's going on in Green Lantern, which is, to me, very exciting. I love the idea of another new storyline for Green Lantern that's really exciting and points us back to Blackest Night. That being said, I really did not enjoy this issue. I feel that this book probably is something that draws back the whole Third Army arc right now because it reminds me so much of the 90s. It's the epitome of doing too much with a really good storyline. Kyle Rayner, who we all love from the 90s as a result, is here, and now he can wield all of the Lantern's power at once, or at least he's trying. I really don't buy that. I've grown into loving Green Lantern specifically so much because of how hard it is to be a Green Lantern and how hard it is to master that art. And now Kyle Rayner comes along and he's mastering all of them at once. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I don't like the repeat of the 90s, so I'm going to give this book 2 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, I got to read Batwoman #14, and if you're anything like me, you probably also really enjoyed seeing Batwoman and Wonder Woman teaming up, and this issue continued that. They're still out on the search for Medusa, and this time we actually get to see her, which was really cool because the way that she's drawn kind of reminds me of the Alice that they did in Batwoman a year or two ago, and I love that character, so this was awesome. It's just, it doesn't really look like her, just for whatever reason I think the coloring reminded me of her. It was just kind of a nice little nostalgic moment for me, but it's really great to just see the Wonder Woman mythology put into Batwoman, and especially to see it kind of starting to take over Gotham. So I'm going to give this book 3.5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, Cubby here with my comic reviews this week. Now, there's a lot of #1s at Marvel this week, and I got to read a couple of them, and I was actually really surprised by both of them. I got to read Captain America #1, and wow, really, really, really awesome book. Rick Remender's taking over writing duties on this, and it's really a breath of fresh air. I mean, Edgar Baker did an amazing run on this book, and Captain America hasn't been without a very good writer in a long time, and it's usually really decent, really engaging stories. I love what Rick Baker did. He just made it like very espionage, like Steranko stories, like old school, but still keeping that Marvel flair of today, a very, progressive in terms of technology and things like that. Just had an old feel to it. This one, it's kind of the opposite. The art's not as like dark and dirty. It's John Romita Jr., which if you know Nerdlocker, you know I hate him. I cannot stand this artist. He's a classic. He's been around forever, and he's done some great work. Old school X-Men stuff and his Amazing Spider-Man run are some of the best works ever. But everything else, I just can't get into it. And this book kind of hurts. It kind of suffers from that because it feels like Kick-Ass. It just looks like Kick-Ass. Like you see this really great scene in the beginning with Captain America's parents, and this really great line his mom delivers to him. It's really dark, it's really deep, and like it hits right at home it's gonna hit at home for a lot of people, and a lot of people will kind of understand Captain America a lot better because of this. And it looks like Kick-Ass. It looks like the kid, like Captain America as a kid is Kick-Ass. And it's cool, I guess, but I want him to look distinct. I want it to be very, very distinct. It's a great book though. This first issue was holy crap. They bring back a villain that's been kind of a thorn in his side for a while. He's been away for a little bit, but he's coming back. And there's a really good twist at the end of it. It just, I can't praise this book enough. I would give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, but again, John Romita Jr. is plaguing this book, so I'm only gonna give it 4 out of 5. Marvel will get rid of him, and it's a 5-star book. 5 skull book, I'm sorry.
Minimum Carnage Omega comes out this week. It's a one-shot, another one-shot in the Minimum Carnage storyline, and I think it's probably supposed to be the end of it. Thank goodness. I did not like this series. I read all of the issues, and it was just such a desperate attempt to repeat the success of Maximum Carnage. It was almost unbearable. I'm going to go back to my comment about the 90s. We're really repeating our mistakes here. We've taken characters from our previous decade and really diluting them to something it's just not even worth it anymore. This fake feud between Carnage and Venom was so forced and so desperate. It was sad. I did not like this title, and it really is kind of a bastardization to what we might be able to call the success of Maximum Carnage. But this was just such a fail, and I really did not like it, and it was a waste of my time. So I'm only going to give it 1 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I wouldn't even check it out. Chris Yost, okay, but he didn't have a lot to work with. It seemed a little too desperate, so I don't know. You might want to skip it.
I got to read Catwoman number 14, and Catwoman is definitely one of my favorite characters, so this was a really awesome read, especially considering the fact that it is a part of the Death of the Family arc, and the fact that Joker is incorporated into this. What I really love about him is that he antagonizes characters so much that you really see what the characters are about and what they really believe in. So I really liked seeing that side of Catwoman. With that said, I would have liked to see a little bit more, but I still thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I'm going to give it 3.5 Nerd Skulls.
So I had another Marvel #1 this week, and it was the Indestructible Hulk #1, written by Mark Waid, a classic, a legend, and drawn by Lana Francis Hugh. And I love the guy. I love this artist. He's amazing. He has a really great style, and it really, really works with this book really well. One thing I really liked from it, there's some really good scenes with Maria Hill and Bruce Banner. And of course they're going to meet. Of course Bruce Banner is going to be in the book. But it's a good chunk of the book, and it's a really, character development, kind of setting up his plot points, his kind of like, what he wants to do, what she wants from him, all the things kind of like working together. It's a really great mystery in the way it comes out. But I don't think any other artist could have done this justice unless it was like Adam Hughes or someone, some great, like, someone really, really big that can do faces and expressions and kind of get that through the page. And Lionel Francis Hugh does a great job of it. It even feels a little bit like Brian Hitch's run on the Ultimates, where you see the Hulk and he's just like this force moving through everyone, and you can fight him, you can throw everything you have at him, but he's still going to be coming at you. And even though he's being repelled by stuff, he's still pushing through it and like still being blurry. It's awesome. It's just really, really well done. And I love the pacing of this book. Setting up for something big. The next person who's going to fight is going to be pretty awesome, and I cannot wait. This is going to be a 4 Nerd Skull book. Wish I can give it more, but there's just a few things that I had wrong with it. But either way, it's a damn good book, so check it out.
So a few months ago, I checked out Edgar Allan Poe's The Conqueror Worm in preview, so I had to add that to my list. Being a Poe fan, I went into this having high hopes, and thankfully, it really did well. Richard Corbin's adaptation really does not take away from the original short story that I read in high school that gave me nightmares and made me fall in love with Edgar Allan Poe. If you're looking for a gripping story that's going to keep going, don't look here, though. It's true to Edgar Allan Poe, where it's really, really weird and doesn't make a lot of sense, but it has that hint of terror that we love. I highly recommend it. Plus, it's got some really cool lettering by Blambot, which is really cool. I'm going to give this title 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out.
Hey guys, I got to read Spike #4, and if you remember my review of #1, you will recall that I was actually really excited about this because it was not what I was expecting, and Spike was actually written in character, which is really not what happens in Buffy comics. And I think I gave it a good rating because I was surprised in comparison to other Buffy comics, because this issue just kind of fell flat for me. There was some other girl trying to convince him that he needs to move on from Buffy, and he was like, I'm not ready to move on from Buffy. And then if you don't know what's going on with this, Spike is just living on a spaceship, and there's a bunch of robot bugs on there, and now they've decided to kind of make the bugs other characters. And I feel like that's when you realize that you've put your character in a bad situation, because the only other characters you can create to make the story about not just the main character are robot bugs that nobody has any idea what they are. So I'm only going to give this book 2 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I also got to read Justice League #14, and whew, again, this book just it does not cease to amaze me. It's always, always awesome. Even the Gary Frank Black Adam story right now, I know it's supposed to be Shazam, I shouldn't probably say that, but whatever, it's Black Adam, he's coming back, he was on the last cover. It's so sweet. But the main story, really awesome. They introduced Cheetah in the last issue, And you kind of find out a little more about her. You find out about the Cheetah Power. It's more aligned with the gods. It's really cool the way they're rebuilding this whole universe. I mean, it's stuff that we've seen before, know really, really well, and they're giving it a fresh take. I'm really, really excited where this is going. They're building up for something really big. It feels like really, really big, and I can't be more excited. Oh my God. I'm gonna say that like 5 more times, but it's exciting. It's really exciting. Anyways, I'm gonna give this book 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls simply because first story is really good, second story is even better. So check it out. You should be reading this on a daily basis.
Another Image #1 coming at you this week with Comeback. Very exciting time traveling book. I did not know what to expect. The front cover is not very exciting, and I have to admit that most books that I pick off the shelf that are new to me, they always have a good cover, and this one, although it is really awesome, it's very simplistic, so it didn't really grab my eye, but I'm glad I picked it up. It is such a good storyline. It reminds me of my childhood and my fascination with time travel, and I'm really glad that that whole thing is back. We're going to see a whole bunch of time traveling comic books coming out, movies coming out. I see it coming, and I'm really excited about it. Comeback is about an organization that goes back to up to about 60 days in the past, and they can save your loved one if you can pony up enough money for it. Very good book. I'm going to recommend it to everyone out there. Ed Bryson does the writing and the lettering, and I want to check out another issue, so I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, I also got to read Dark Avengers #183. Now, I'm not huge on this book. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know the Thunderbolts. I love the Thunderbolts. They're actually a really cool team. I love the concept of it. In the last couple of years, they've had some really good runs going. And this, it was in the middle of a run, obviously, so it's a little shaky, but it ends with such a cliffhanger and such like a crazy last page that it's like, what just happened? Holy crap. What's going to go on? Are they building up towards something? I don't know. But definitely check this out. If you guys know, let me know, because I really want to catch up on this. I don't think I have any of the issues. So I like this book. Art was actually really cool. I thought it was going to suck, but it's not. And Jeff Parker's actually a really good writer. So check this book out more. I'm going to give it 3 Nerd Skulls because there was a few things I didn't really get. Marvel usually does a really good job of letting you know what happened in previous issues, and this kind of felt like it wasn't all there. So 3 Nerd Skulls, check it out. This is a really good book either way. All right, guys, so I got to read Bravest Warriors #2. Now, I read #1 a while ago, last month actually, and I didn't review it or anything, but man, it was a really fun book, so I really wanted to review it this week. And again, just really, really, really fun. They have a lot of cool references to movies that I didn't think they would have, like They Live. Awesome reference there, and it's just really fun. It's a little dark, it's a little crazy, but it's like Adventure Time. It's created by Pendleton Ward, so it's totally in that vein of being for kids, but an adult, a young adult, someone older, more mature that understands different concepts and doesn't just like a good fart joke or a funny, crazy space journey. It actually has something for you, and you can totally read it with someone that's younger than you, and you guys can bond over this, and it's awesome, and it has cool artwork, and it's all about space guys and aliens, and they fight stuff, and there's like a cool backup story where they all get the flu, and it teaches you not to contaminate people's stuff. It's just really cool, man. 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Go read this now.
Thanks for checking out our comic book reviews this week.
Be sure to like our stuff on Twitter and follow us on Facebook.
Subscribe to Nerdlocker.com and check out our YouTube page.
For Nerdlocker.com, I am Cubby.
And I'm Bobby. We'll see you next week.